Let's talk Stranger Things season 4 so far. Let's rock it. Oh man, how I wish I could just play the music to the intro of Stranger Things right now. It's so good.
I know. It's just every time I see the intro now, I get just like, yeah.
It's such a good theme, man. All right, well, since we don't have our hands on any Hellfire shirts yet, Hellfire Club, by the way, we do have Sucks Clan matching shirts. So we at least thought, hey, it's still a gaming clan group. It's not Hellfire Club, but maybe we'll get our hands on a Hellfire. D&D. I think you and I should. Well, you know what? I don't play D&D either, but I have, and I really enjoyed it. I never played it when I was younger, and then eventually I was like, I want to play. I just want to try it out. And finally, a friend did it, and he did it for like, I don't know, a few sessions, and then he got bored and stopped. And I was like, lame. So here we are. But I think we should get some Hellfire Club shirts because they're pretty cool looking, man. What do you think?
I agree, because we've already got our Eagle Fang karate shirts. So,
yeah, my Cobra Kai shirt. Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. I think that those shirts are probably on sale right now already, and they're probably selling off the racks. If you get $60 when you buy it, and it says it will arrive anytime between July 15th and September 3rd. You know it's on a container ship from China, so.
That's true. There's still those weird things going on right now. But hey, at least we have Stranger Things season 4 to talk about and watch. So what did you think? Overall thoughts? Give it to me. Give it to me.
They hit it out of the park on the first new episode, continuing their amazing, totally radical, awesome streak. That's what I think.
I appreciate that nice little 80s reference, the totally radical. I haven't heard that in a long time, man. Rad. We got to bring rad back.
Dude, what are you talking about? People say rad all the time now.
Not like totally radical, though. Or tubular. Okay, I guess that was more late 80s. I'm trying to think of like some of the 80s slang we could bring, you know? I don't know. I like righteous, but that doesn't really work. Anyway, well, righteous, man. I thought that, season 4 I thought was righteous so far. I've only watched the first episode. I know some of you are already like, you're probably done with episode 7 by now. So I figured, hey, I'm just going to jump in, watch the first one, give you my initial thoughts, and oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie about this. I think, actually I am going to lie about this, but I think that this episode 1 of season 4 was the best season start so far of the entire show for me.
It was, if I don't actually completely agree with you, I at least
it's close.
Possibly agree with you. Yeah. It's at least up there. I mean, it's just how they're able to. I'm just so impressed with the writing on this series, honestly.
Oh my God, the Duffer Brothers.
Every season, the
Duffer Brothers are geniuses.
They are. But for 4 seasons now so far, they managed to both continue to develop the various characters and their interactions, really well. I mean, there's like the character development is bar none. But they also at the same time they put a compelling and creative plot together. So I mean, they really are on a roll, and I mean a true roll. There's not been a bad season of Stranger Things yet. So.
No, they had a couple of episodes. There was that one episode where Elle goes off, and becomes like the superpowers with the other heroes or whatever. That was a weird episode that just didn't fit. But other than that, like, I mean, you're right. Like, I can't believe they're still going 4 seasons in and they haven't really dropped the ball. Now, I got to be honest. So when I first started watching Stranger Things, when it first came out, I think through episode 3 and then I was like, I just can't do this. And I stopped. And then, I don't know, it was probably close to a year later, and a lot of people were like, no, dude, you got to go. Like, it gets better starting in episode 4. So I'm like, all right, I'll try to push through. And so then I watched the first 3 episodes again, and I was just like, but yeah, do you want to know why? Do you want to know why?
Yeah, why?
Winona Ryder's character drove me crazy. I couldn't stand her character.
I remember that now,
My boy! Oh, well. I hated it. It was just like, Now, by the way, I know I'm not alone in that, but I could not stand that.
I understand now, yeah.
The other thing, too, is I'm not much of a horror fan. I don't watch horror stuff. I don't like it that much. And so this is technically a sci-fi horror or fantasy sci-fi horror, but it does have that. So I just didn't like the first 3 episodes. Now, I pushed through again, still was like, Episode 4, though, I was like, oh, okay. And then it just took off from there. And then the rest of season 1 was phenomenal for me. But that's me. I'm one of the weird minorities in that one. Season 2, I loved the first episode. Mad Max was awesome. And I liked season 2 quite a bit. There were some things that were okay. And season 3, I really, really enjoyed. But then watching this episode of the first episode of season 4, I'm just like, whoa, okay, I like this a lot, and I can't wait.
They're hitting their peak now, and hopefully it's a long peak. I'm hoping that this. What is this show going to go through season 5? I think
at least season 5 is what they're confirmed for, and I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I just feel like they're really hitting their stride now, which is funny because a lot of people think they've hit their stride episodes and episodes ago, but the actors are all pulling off their mid-80s selves really well. Yeah. Which I was a little nervous about. It's like, okay, how are they going to do this? Oh, this is only 1986 now. I thought that the season 4 would start off just so that the actors could look more their age in real life, that it would start off like in like 89 or 90 or something like that. And they would like kind of transition from an 80s theme to a 90s theme.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. But then I was like, oh, this is only 86. And they're still, they're full on 80s culture in the show. And they're still pulling it off really well. I could believe that they were still in high school.
Yeah, see that. And I was going to say, that's surprising to me because so many of the actors are around 20 and they're playing freshmen in high school and stuff. And then some of the other actors, in fact, I think a couple of them are 30 and they're playing like 19-year-olds. And so it's just, it's hilarious to me though, that they're able to pull it off because it still does look pretty realistic. They did film this a year ago. So, 19, a little more believable, I guess, whatever. Now, speaking of being filmed a year ago, I did appreciate the little thing they said in the beginning of the first episode about how this was filmed a year ago. And of course, this just happened with the recent horrible tragedy with the shooting at the school in Texas. And I really appreciated them saying that because, of course, this had nothing to do with anything like that, but they did that well. They did a nice tribute to that. I did think that flashback was very interesting. Flashback to 1979 when you see Elle as kind of, as 11, and you see the other kids as well that have those powers. But spoiler alert. So hopefully you've seen at least the first episode. What the heck, man? I mean, she kills everybody.
I know. So, I did not see that coming. Yeah, I didn't realize that she had that in her past.
And you kind of go, did she forget that? Or is she living with that? That's going to be interesting to see how that develops because that could either make her crack or what. So,
and they showed that for a reason, obviously. So, I mean, the 80s soundtrack.
Oh, so good so far.
Continues to bring a smile to my face.
Extreme Play With Me. I was like, there we go. There's so many great songs in there. Well, and I'm wondering if they're going to bring, of course, 86 Top Gun was in there. It's funny that, Top Gun with Maverick out. Of course, Karate Kid 2 was 86. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, but there's a lot of stuff, that they've got a chance to bring into this, which will be interesting. I was going to say that with that in mind, watching them live their lives in normality was actually kind of fun to see because it was like, hey, we're bridging the gaps of a year because it's only a year apart from season 3 in the story, even though it's 3 years in real life. So kind of cool to see that, What did you think of that? Did you like kind of how they just kind of built that into it and seeing how they're all working and how things are going and Elle's getting bullied and Max is dealing with obviously significant, mental issues.
Angst with
a lot of pain.
Well, from what happened to her brother and with trying to reconcile things with Lucas or not reconcile things as the situation.
She broke up with him. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, and just seeing like I said, the interplay between these characters who we've all grown to know so well over the last 3 seasons is just masterful. It's just really well written how they interact with each other. Some of them are doing their own thing. They moved to California, and everyone else is doing their own thing, and they're keeping track of each other. And spring break's coming up, and of course this season takes place during that spring break or whatever. But I just really, really, really appreciate the writing and the interaction of the characters.
Yeah, I like. I was definitely feeling Lucas's dilemma. It's like, oh man, totally. I want to hang out with my nerd friends, but I also because I was that way. I mean, I still am. It's like I wanted to hang out with my nerd friends, but I was a basketball player and I liked playing basketball. And there was that kind of tension between you've got this group over here and you've got this group over here, and this one's popular and this one's not. And I was like, oh man, Lucas, I'm
and just how cruel the kids were to 11. And
I've experienced that. I've totally experienced that.
I've never seen it in my own life.
Really?
I've never seen it to that intensity where like there's dozens of kids standing around some kid who had his project stepped on and everyone's laughing at that kid. I never saw it that bad.
I've had worse, to be completely honest. Not like the whole school sitting there laughing at you at the same time. I mean, I've never had that, but I've had significantly more cruel bullying happen to me in my life. Sure, so when I saw that, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like I feel for her.
Yeah, they do a great job of really getting, I mean, just sucking us in all aspects. They just suck you into this series from right out the gate. So
yeah, it made me mad actually. Like, here's the thing they always talk about when it comes to writing a good story or talking is that if it evokes an emotion in you, whether you're happy or excited or sad or angry, and I was like so mad, for Elle, like, and I'm like, hey, you guys nailed it, because if it's making me mad as I'm watching it, like I'm shouting at the TV kind of thing, dude, nice job, because that's what we want. If we're apathetic, then clearly, it sucks, and we're not. Yeah. We're engaged. I was gonna say, I'm a fan of Grace Van Dien, who plays Chrissy, and her character. Oh. Wow. So first of all, Grace Van Dien, for those of you who don't know, is Casper Van Dien's daughter, who played Johnny Rico in Starship Troopers, and that's his most famous role.
Okay, yeah, that's funny.
So Chrissy is Johnny Rico's daughter, anyway. But
Chrissy's the cheerleader, right?
The cheerleader. Yep, that is dead. No. Or is she?
Well, after the end of episode 1, it sure looks like it. So
so we don't know yet, but that I gotta say, at first I'm like, yay, Grace Van Dien. Crap. Now what? That was I feel like we needed to film like a reaction as I was watching this, because it was fun. But all right, here's the deal. So I was wanting to bring the mad scientist in with this to hang out with us, to do a 3-person chat about this, because he's already, I think he's almost done with Stranger Things, at least up, I don't know, episode 5 or something. He just binged it. He's loving it. I wanted his thoughts. He couldn't join us, unfortunately, at this time. So instead, we have a little video from him.
What is up, everyone? The Mad Scientist coming to you from the Speed Force. Unfortunately, I'm trapped and cannot make it onto the review today.
Again?
But Brian had asked me in advance to share some of my thoughts about the newly released Stranger Things Season 4. And I've seen about half of the season at this point, so I'll avoid getting into spoiler territory too much, but suffice it to say, I really like this season. There's a lot to love here, a lot that's very familiar from the last 3 seasons of the show. They build a lot on the successes of the last few seasons, and they really give the new characters a lot of development and a lot of things to do. So if you really loved Max from Season 2 or Robin from Season 3, they're back, and they are just as good as they ever were. The relationships between the main cast still is the focal point of the show, and the original 4 plus Jonathan and Nancy and Steve and Dustin and all of the other kind of odd couples that have developed over the course of this show are really the beating heart of the franchise and really do a lot of work for it this time around. The story is very heavily influenced by classic horror movies like It or Nightmare on Elm Street, and at times it can feel a little bit similar in overall plot structure to those, but at the same time, we've already had such good world building in the Stranger Things universe that it feels like a pretty fresh twist on some very familiar ideas. Without getting too much into kind of what's coming down the road, I will say that this has some of my favorite music choices out of this series. There have been a lot of things to really enjoy. I especially love their use of The Clash in Season 1, of Oingo Boingo in Season 2, and this time around there is a particular song choice that I think is just absolutely brilliant for this season, and I love it so much, and I can't wait to share that excitement when we talk about this episode. But if you haven't seen this season yet, it is out now on Netflix. I highly recommend checking it out, and I look forward to continuing to share some of my thoughts with Brian and the rest of the team.
Well, we will be back, by the way, with the Mad Scientist, and we're going to do the entire season, our thoughts up through episode 7, that is, because, of course, season 4 continues on July 1st, so we'll get at least through those, and then we'll do another quick video on that and go from there. I'm glad he brought up the music choices. Mad Scientist is a musician, and so it is kind of fun to talk about, the music with him and stuff like that. But he also brought up a couple of the other characters that I wanted to quickly mention, Max and Robin too. I mean, I'm a big fan of both those. I love Robin. She didn't have a whole lot in episode 1, but still fun to see her. Max, though, I gotta tell you what, I'm intrigued by Max. I loved her character in seasons 2 and 3. I'm sad to see where she's at right now. At the same time, dude, the acting was phenomenal to see. I mean, she's tapping her knee and she's anxious, she's stressed, she's depressed, she's angry, she's sad. She somehow managed to portray all of that. Yeah. And I was just absolutely blown away at her acting. So it was amazing. But I love her character, and I'm sad for her. That's another thing too. Is like I feel like so many TV shows these days I watch and movies, I don't care about the characters and what they're going through because they're not written well. And so far in episode 1 of season 4 of Stranger Things, I have managed to care about every single one of those characters on a very deep level. And I'm just like, what? Yeah. Why? But I'm like, wow, that's good writing.
How do they do it? I mean, it's shows like this that prove Hollywood can set the bar higher when they want to. And it's just, there are certain shows come around once in a while, like this one, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, you name it, The Wire, whatever. These big shows that show how good it can be done.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes all the other shows that don't put in quite as much effort,
look that bad.
You have to look, they look worse. So, I mean, it's nice to see that there's still that it's Hollywood's still pumping out some good stuff once in a while.
It is. And this really is so well done. And even if you're not, I will say this, like I'm not a horror fan, but to me, this is not enough horror that I won't watch horror, and this I'll watch. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But it is.
Well, because it's horror in the background of a really well told story and character development.
Correct. Yep.
So horror is just kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And if the cake tastes great, the icing can be whatever it is. So yeah.
They really make it just so believable too. The way that they've got the backstories of the characters and development and everything like that. So it's really, really good. I'm sucked in already. I'll be watching episode 2 tomorrow, 100%. And so highly recommended. If you're I want to hear your thoughts, by the way. If you're a Stranger Things fan, one way or the other, I just want to hear what you thought of this and what you're thinking so far. Don't spoil anything in the comments just in case people haven't watched it yet. But you can spoil episode 1. That's it. But feel free to jump in on the conversation and just tell us what you thought, as non-spoilery as possible. And then we'll come back and discuss the entire season when we're all done with it. But thank you for joining us. And we did also review Obi-Wan, so make sure to check that one out as well. Because, hey, we had to talk about that. There's so much good stuff coming out right now. I mean, Orville.
There is right now.
Yeah, season 3 of Orville,
Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick. I mean, the new Jurassic World. There's just so much coming. It's exciting. So thank you for joining us, though. Hope you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you quite soon.